All right, welcome back to another episode of the Caribbean Report. I know everybody was wondering what in the world happened to us last week. You've seen on the news the way the flu bug been hitting everybody else. In this case, we weren't immune in this case. You know, normally things like that don't affect us, but yeah, this was one time when we got hit by it. And for those of you watching the first time, I'm Dedrick Henry. I'm one of the hosts. Those who are used to watching this, you're probably used to seeing Karen sitting next to me. But we have another superstar here at the moment. Karen Clarke is stuck in traffic. Actually, this is the Haitian Fidel Castro.
Don't say that. I'm ready to go to retirement.
No, I have the Haitian part right, but this is Abdallah Galla who's just sitting in tonight until our co-host gets in. And again, we thank you for joining us tonight. But before I get into this intro spiel, I'll put it that way, let me let Abdallah say anything he wants to say because I know he's only sitting here for like 5 minutes, so I hate to have him sit here and I spend the whole 5 minutes talking.
Yeah, I just want to tell him to stay tuned to watch Tech Support on Thursday, 12 o'clock to 1.
Thursday, 12 to 1? Now, Can they see that? Because you know there's some people watching our show on the website and they don't even live in Atlanta to pick it up. Is Tech Support on the web?
No, you can put it on, but it's a lot of work. I mean,
I don't know. We can get somebody to volunteer to do it.
Well, we can say, if somebody can volunteer, we give him the tip, they can put it on. But it's a lot of work, man. That's enough I'll be here.
Right, so those of you in Atlanta, well, let me start for those of you outside of Atlanta, stay tuned. In the future, you will be able to see Tech Support online.
Definitely.
But right now, only those within Atlanta can see it here on People TV, which is channel 24 on Comcast Cable in Atlanta. Now, tell us a little bit about Tech Support.
Oh, it's a great show. One of the greatest shows on earth. This is the kind of
well,
show.
Well, second to this one, right?
I don't know.
Well, they kind of.
kind of. Actually, you know, in Tech Support, we do a lot of stuff. We talk about a lot of stuff that they don't have time to talk on regular TV. A lot of stuff you hear from Tech Support, you're going to hear for the first time because tonight we want to talk about that new chip coming out for the cell phone. We want to talk a little bit about cell phone.
Oh, really?
Like,
okay.
They got that quad chip coming out just for cell phone.
For a cell phone?
Yes, sir. And then things is going to, the convergence is on. I mean, as far as your iPad, your camera, your telephone, your game, everything, the convergence is ready. Everything is going to be on the telephone now. The convergence is on, it's almost over. I mean, we're ready to take off.
Your cell phone is like your computer now.
Yes, sir.
Y'all definitely stay tuned. I mean, it's a tie. I'm not going to tell you what the exact tie is, but there's a tie between Tech Support and Caribbean Report, and that's the reason we're mentioning both shows on here. So please, if you are in on Thursdays at 12 o'clock, right? Yeah. I know a lot of people work during that time, so your VCR, your TiVo, set it and record it.
But actually, I would say Caribbean Report is a great show also because, you know, you guys make a lot of sacrifice and then you do a lot of stuff because really to come to do that show every Friday live, and you got to go to work, you got to beat the traffic, and then the time is on at 7 o'clock. I really commend you guys to be able to do it. And then to give the people the things they can hear anywhere else because there's no way in this town they have a show dedicated for 1 hour to the Caribbean, just talk about what's happening in the Caribbean, the music, the sport, you know, different things. I mean,
well, thank you.
I mean, you're doing a good job, and that's why I'm sitting here. You know, what I'm saying maybe I'll be somebody too one day.
Oh no, you're definitely somebody. Not to get into details, but you're a big part of the Caribbean Report.
Of course,
I'm not going to get into details on it, but he's a huge part. You may not see him on camera doing the show, but that doesn't mean he doesn't play a big part on this. But let me just mention some of the headlines that we're going to cover tonight. Like I said, I'm not going to get into them yet because I'm going to give Abdallah his time with his short time being here. Well, short time being on the air, not short time being involved with the show.
I'm just watching you guys. Go ahead.
But,
go with it.
I mean, we have a lot that we're going to talk about tonight. There's Castro's resignation and what that means. There's the U.S. election. There's crime in America / Caribbean. There's a topic we want to get on that. There's also, there's a topic or there's an issue going on is the best educated leaving the Caribbean right now and not coming back. So we're going to touch on that. We're also going to touch on the Caribbean Sea is actually under threat. There's also the TPS status for Haiti, which is actually well, it's big for all of us, but definitely would be dear to your heart.
What is a PTS status?
TPS.
TPS, what's that?
Yeah, the temporary, it's not protection, but it basically gives you temporary, like a temporary visa to stay in the U.S. And you know what? let me just jump ahead to that article while
me
we're on. Let's talk about that because I want to tie that in.
Oh, by the way, before I forget, this guy, you remember in 1974, Haiti went to the World Cup.
Right.
And then our first game was against Italy. And we scored first. And the guy who scored, say, Emmanuel Sano, called Timono, he died.
Oh, he died? Oh, no. We definitely need to mention that.
Yesterday, and then he died. He was 56 years old.
Right.
He got some liver, some organ problems, so he died, definitely. He died for good, for sure. Yesterday.
But that's definitely an important point to remember.
They consider him as a Haitian hero, you know, as a big entertainer, because, you know, when you went to the World Cup.
Oh, that is huge.
You're the first one to score against Italy. And that year, Italy was become the World Cup champ.
Wow.
So that was the best team, and we scored on them. We could have beat them that day, we thought. But at the end of the last 15 minutes, we just Whitney.
Too much. But tell our viewers his name again. What is it?
Emmanuel Sano. His name is Timono.
And that is huge because in the World Cup, I mean, you're talking about 76, since then, only three Caribbean, I guess you say, countries have gone. I mean, Trinidad recently, Jamaica, and Haiti.
That was the first Caribbean.
Right, and that was the first.
Yeah.
So that is historic. Not only the first Caribbean country, but the first goal was by him. And again, he died recently. Against the eventual champions. So it wasn't just any little game. So
he died. So let's go on with the living now.
Yeah. And back to what I mentioned, again, it's temporary protective status. That's what TPS stands for. And well, let me just give you the definition of it. TPS is a temporary immigration status granted to eligible nations of designated countries. Now, just to throw an example, Montserrat, residents of Montserrat, previously was given this status when the volcano hit for the U.S. And now, two Democrats are sending a letter to President Bush asking that Haitian residents receive the same temporary protected status when they come to the U.S. And let me just mention it. It's from Representatives Elise Hastings, or Alcee Hastings, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, and Kendrick Meeks. And they both from Florida, and they sent a letter to Bush. And actually, I would definitely like to, well, not the whole thing, but let me just touch on the first two paragraphs so you all get the idea. And this was sent on February the 7th. It says, "Dear Mr. President, we write to you in support of Haitian's President Rene Preval," is that how you pronounce it? Right, recent request for temporary protective status for Haitian immigrants in the United States. We feel that Haiti's ongoing political and economic struggles and extraordinary destruction caused by several natural disasters more than qualify Haitian nationals who are already in the U.S. for TPS. See, without TPS, basically, these residents will have to go back. Now, I got this article. I can't go deeper into it, but I got this article from South Florida, CaribbeanNews.com. And again, the title is U.S. Reps Call on President Bush to Support Granting Temporary Protected Status for Haitian Immigrants. Now, of course, you all, in case you all think that you're going blind when the camera finally switches off of me, Abdallah is leaving.
Yeah, I want to say I'm leaving because Karen is back here behind me. I'm out of here. I've been kicked out of the show. Bye.
And the other host that you're used to seeing, Karen, is on, and you will be seeing her momentarily. But again, I want to mention this point. Please go to South Florida, CaribbeanNews.com for more information on this article. And this link is not currently on our website. On our website, which is myspace.com/Atlanta Caribbean Report, and you will see it posted up on the screen later on. But if you go to that site, we have a link on the top right-hand corner called Main News Sources for the show. And we have Caribbean360.com, we have BBC.com, or their Caribbean site, we have the MontserratReporter.com, and we also have HeartbeatNews.com, which is now Carib World History, and I'm probably right, but let me just double check that. CaribWorldNews.com, and I will be adding South Florida CaribbeanNews.com because I now get a lot of articles like the one we just started off with. I now get a lot of articles from there. And for the sake of Karen, and for those of you who just tune in to us, I'd like to recap what we spoke about.
Yeah.
And you know why I'm pausing?
Why?
You think It's funny, when I was driving in, I said, last time I wore all black, Karen wore all black. I was thinking about that driving in, and I said, we didn't plan that last time. I said, let me see if that happens this time without me even saying anything to her. And of course, as you were seeing a few minutes when the camera does get on her, that happened. But before I go into this recap and more on what I wanted to talk about, I got to give you an opportunity to say something. I know you just walked on the set. You've been stuck in this traffic for the last 20 hours. Well, maybe not that long, but you've been stuck in traffic for a while. So,
yes, I was stuck in traffic, and I thought I wasn't going to get here. But God is good, and I am here. Thank you for, welcoming me on. Well, anyway, let's see. It's very rainy outside. Georgia needs the water.
Yeah.
We need the water. But you know what? I was thinking today as I was washing my vegetables. I said, wait a minute, I'm wasting a little bit of water. I guess I shouldn't say that, right?
No, you won't.
But you know what?
What's that?
The water that comes through our faucet is recycled over and over and over again. It comes even from our commode. When everything goes through the system at the water treatment plants, all right, don't we get it back again, back at the house?
I think somewhat, but not all the way.
Really?
And I'm not an expert on that, so I'm not going deep into it.
I really would like to find out about that.
The only reason I said somewhat, because I know during the drought, which I guess is still occurring, they did ask to cut back on like shower time and things like that.
Everything like that.
So I think there is some recycling, but when there's a drought, it still has an effect that you can't 100% recycle is basically what I'm saying. Well, not we can't, but the plants can't.
Well, that's true. That's where we have water, loss. It's in that. But, as far as in the home.
But in general, some of it does recycle back.
Yes, it is definitely recycled. Recycled, definitely. But anyway.
But yeah, when we get more information on it.
That's just a thought of mine. And I'm very happy to know that it's raining.
Yeah, it's been raining a lot lately.
It's raining, and we need the water.
Probably didn't help with the traffic,
and we need the water. Yes, we do need the water.
Definitely.
We do need the water.
But just to recap real quick, what I mentioned earlier is some of the news highlights that we have, and hopefully we can touch as many of these as possible. If not, you all have the link to our website, which gives more information. But some of the main items are Castro's resignation and what it means. There's also the election here and also how it relates to the Caribbean, crime in America and the Caribbean. There's also, is the best educated leaving the Caribbean more so now? I don't know if you saw that.
The best educated leaving the Caribbean?
Right, yes. But I have information on that. The Caribbean Sea is under threat. It's another article we want to tackle. TPS status on Haiti, which we just covered. And again, you can go to southfloridacaribbeannews.com to get more information. And before I forget, you all see the number on the screen, 404-873-1349. So if you're watching us live on Friday night, please feel free to call in because this is everybody's show. Back to the articles real quick. There's something else on Carib Ward history that I like to that we have to cover. And also there's two more things. Caribbean music is hitting Broadway now. That was an interesting article. I don't know if you saw that. That was from South Florida News. And another Caribbean movie, or a Caribbean movie, in the Pan Am Festival in Los Angeles. So we're going to get to as many of these as possible. Today's show, we don't have a guest. It's more of a variety show. We have a lot of news here that we like to bring out to you because we know that majority of these articles, if not all, that you don't hear about on your regular news. So we want to be able to feed to you as much as we possibly can. So we try to mix it up as much as possible to give you information for guests, but at the same time, to also be able to give you a lot of news information. And again, phone number 873-1349 and area code 404. And our website, myspace.com/Atlanta Caribbean Report. Now, going through the news, I know there is something that you wanted to touch on first.
About the foreclosure?
Yes.
Yes. We were talking about foreclosure, something about a little bit on the local side and community side. And first of all, I want to say that Georgia Senate voted to cap on property assessment. Okay, and what that means is basically to help homeowners from stop being taxed on their properties, because the taxes has escalated so much. The homeowners has been feeling that type of crunch. So that proposal is going to be voted on in November to put a cap on that. So that should help homeowners.
Okay.
And hopefully that will not escalate mortgages as well, because that's another factor that can escalate mortgages.
Okay.
On the other end, as far as foreclosures is concerned, lenders are seeing that they're not in a win-win situation. They're definitely losing, all right? Because too many properties, yes, well, of course, because they have a lot of inventory, because people are not occupying the homes, all right? So inventory for them is no good. Their portfolio is not that great. So what a lot of lenders are joining in on, there's 6 lenders: Bank of America, Chase, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, Countrywide, Washington Mutual, and other lenders are joining in this group to assist homeowners to keep their loans, homes.
I was going to say, if we can just hold that thought for 1 second. We have a phone call coming in. Caller, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, we can barely hear the caller. Could you repeat that, please, caller?
I said I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, we can barely hear you. That was the problem. Okay, go ahead with your question or comment, please.
Yes, I want to talk about the way they've been ripping us old folks off, giving us loans and stuff to fix up our houses, and knowing that we can't meet the payments and things. I have $1,100 house note, and I only get $900, and they know that a month. What are they going to ever do about that? Are they going to do anything to help us seniors on that, keep us from losing our home? It took me 30-some odd years to pay for this home, and now I'm finna lose it.
And that is your mortgage payment is how much?
Yes.
$1,100?
Yes.
Okay, what I'm suggesting to you, this was posted in Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Call your lender and work something out with them. They're sending letters out right now. A lot of these Bank of America, Chase, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, and Countrywide, Washington Mutual, and many more lenders, they are assisting people. They're sending out letters asking them if they want to keep their home. What you have to do is send them your financial information, and they will work out an agreement, a workout payment plan. And you will have to make 3 consecutive, I believe 3 consecutive payments, on-time payments. And then what is said is they will adjust the loan.
Really? So
where it can be affordable. Now, what that means, that is what was stated in front of me. You can go ahead and call your lender. Do not be afraid of doing that. Go ahead, call the lender, because the lender wants you to be in your house. They don't want to have another piece of property.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And I was going to say,
you for calling.
Please call it. If you can give us a call back next week, we'll be on at the same time, and let us just know the result of your conversation with your lender. We would definitely appreciate that, and I'm sure our other viewers would definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, so please just call your lender, and it can be worked out. Thank you. Another thing that I would like to suggest too, a little touch is on your credit, because all of this too kind of plays your financial with your credit. You are every year we do get a free credit report.
Right. Okay,
and please go ahead and get that information. This is www.annualcreditreport.com. And that you can get your free credit report. It is recommended as far as a defense mechanism for you to claim that you have put a fraud status on your information. Therefore, no one else can tap into it. What happens is once you claim fraud status, the people who are going to look up into your file, okay, you will be contacted. So that's what should happen. It's an alert mechanism. Okay, for you to be contacted first before any credit is issued out. So we recommend you to do fraud alerts, recommend you that if you think that any accounts, like one time my wallet was stolen, and what I did was I went immediately to the bank, close out that account. Don't wait. Go ahead, report that, so that if anything does happen, you have a police report as well as you need to have a police report so that your bank also can secure your money. Because let's say if the money was stolen out or your credit card was used, by having that police report, you can recover your monies. And thank you. You know, I really would love to give this information out so we can be armed and protected as far as our homes and as far as our credit.
And the website again? For the
The
free credit
website,
report?
the website is www.
No, you knew what I was going to say.
.annualcreditreport.com. And okay, also for identity theft, check out this other website. It's ftc.gov/ID theft. And if you could go to that website, you can also get some information as well, some supportive information from your government.
Okay, that's a good point. And I definitely know that by experience because I currently have a fraud alert on my credit report for my identity being stolen. So
Really?
yeah.
Well,
I mean, fortunately, I didn't get hit financially, but unfortunately, I got hit criminally so it messed up my criminal record for a while. But I mean, that just go to say it's very important. One, that you constantly check your credit report, and two, if there's any issues, do not wait. Out of everything that you said, not everything you said was important, but one, the key that I have to emphasize is do not wait. Don't be thinking like, oh, I looked at my statement and nothing posted, so that means nobody has taken anything from me. No, it's better to be safe than sorry. You know the old saying, and we can't stress that enough.
Definitely, it's good to be safe than sorry, and all of this tonight is for you to deter, detect and defend, because definitely what you have to do, especially your Social Security number, we use that so easily, and the thing about it is, because we're so automated, and I have done that in the past, I give out my information on the phone. You have to be very careful who you'll give your information to. Even when the person calls you you might leave a message and that person's supposed to call you back. You still have to screen and scrutinize your calls, definitely. So definitely shred your information, your financials, and get your annual credit report every year.
That's right, and it's free. It's free, and that's another thing. If somebody's trying to charge you, go to this site. You can get it for free.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to say the next thing that I wanted to focus on, and actually I believe we have a question coming in from the audience. Is that correct? Okay. No, they passing notes among each other. But the next thing that I wanted to focus into is the Curb word history. Well, we actually might have two on the Curb word history.
Okay.
Of course, I have to give you the honor first. Now I know you had someone that you wanted to talk about, but I remember you saying that you might push that person to next week. So
yes, go right ahead.
Okay, you're going.
You have the floor on this one.
Okay, and actually, I hate to read word for word, but I mean not for any excuses, but we do not have teleprompters here, so that is the reason I'm picking up papers back and forth. Don't think that I'm just not prepared or can't read off of it. But this is important because this ties in to what's going on today, and what I'm referring to is the election. You hear about this, not the first, but you hear it's one of the first major black contenders for president, and also the same with a woman. But there's a Caribbean tie where there was somebody that fit both categories.
Really?
And of course, I'm talking about Shirley Chisholm. And a lot of people may not know that her Caribbean roots. So what I want to do is, like I said, I hate to read word for word, but I think it's more important that I get everything out from this article. So let me just go ahead and state what this article said. And let me state the source. It's from CaribbeanWorldNews.com. And it says, Senators Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, we are told over and over again by the mainstream media in their camp, are making history by being a woman and an African-American tender for the U.S. presidency. But over 36 years ago, a second-born Caribbean national broke both barriers in her bid to become U.S. president. As voters head into the Potomac Democratic elections today, naturally this was a couple of weeks ago, well, Tuesday before last, was the Potomac election, which is Maryland, D.C., and Virginia. Few may remember Shirley Anita St. Hill Chisholm, born to a father who was from British Guyana and a mother from Barbados. Neither the Obama nor the Clinton camp, as date of this article, has acknowledged her history-making that still resonates with many historians, especially in the Caribbean American community. Chisholm was the first black and the first woman to run for president of the United States. On January 25, 1972, Chisholm announced her candidacy for president. At the time, she had served only 4 years in the U.S. Congress, a post which she won in 1968, following 4 years as a representative in the New York State Assembly, and which made her the first African-American woman to win election to Congress. And I just want to stop there. There's about 4 more paragraphs left, and I may not finish them all. If I don't, you all know where to go, our website, and then click on main news sources for the show, and it says heartbeatnews.com. Well, it says CaribbeanWarNews.com, formerly known as heartbeatnews.com. If you click on that, you will see the title of this article. But another reason I paused, because I wanted to address this for a second. Something that ties so much to the election today, you're really hearing nothing about. Sure. And I'm not going to put you on the spot and say why. Well, let me do that. Why do you think that is?
I guess they don't find it newsworthy right now. It's not.
That's the key.
Yeah, they don't find it newsworthy. That's my opinion.
And you know what? That's the point I was thinking about. On the news, they show, I guess you could say, what they feel will bring the most ratings. I mean, let's be real. News, I mean, it's reporting, but they competing against other news channels, and it's what can we be first, breaking news, and bringing the best ratings on. And the fact that they not mention this, I think it's pretty simple. Like you said, they don't feel that it's newsworthy to bring those ratings or to bring those viewers or to bring attention to. Wow, is it time for a break already?
Yes, I guess so.
Well, we're about to go to a break. We will definitely be back. Don't change the dial. This is on for a full hour to 8 o'clock. We're taking a quick break. Please bear with us, and we'll be right back. Please watch these PSAs. They are important. Thank you.
Tired of the mudslinging? Tired of being told who to vote for? At Project VoteSmart's unique research facility high in the Rocky Mountains, hundreds of volunteers have gathered to investigate issue positions, backgrounds, and campaign contributors on over 12,000 candidates fighting for your vote. This year, get the facts, not the rhetoric. Help us change the face of democracy. Don't just vote, vote smart. Call our researchers toll-free at 888-VOTE-SMART or visit us on the web at vote-smart.org.
We're fighting diabetes, one step at a time. Join thousands of walkers across the country to raise money for the American Diabetes Association. Join America's Walk for Diabetes. Get involved. Form a team. Bring the kids. Walking is good for your health and great for the cause. Call or log on today. Together, we can find a cure. One step at a time.
I'm really excited about this. We've seen it. We've seen it before. This guy got phone. Excuse me. Hello? He's back? Are you sure? Did you activate the force field? And he still got through. All right, we're gonna need the super cape. The Cycloptic invader's attacking.
The Cycloptic invader's back. They do this.
All right, okay, all right, now turn on the light transformer. Yes! Way to go, Billy, we got him. We just saved the universe. Family.
Thanks, Dad.
Isn't it about time? Bye-bye.
Dessert is on the house for anyone who's saved the universe.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
From the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
That was Billy. He's 6.
Welcome back to the Caribbean Report. And one thing I forgot to mention, for those of you who are used to seeing us in the past, and this is the first time this season you turned into us, you're probably used to us going off at 7:30. We are on now for a full hour from 7 to 8 p.m. I forgot to mention that. I know everybody cannot catch us every week because of work schedules, different things like that, but we're on for a full hour now. So, and it's more than, we're not stopping here. We're just looking over, taking over everything. I'll just leave it at that. And again, what we were speaking on earlier, we were going over Carib word history, and we were talking about Shirley Chisholm. And every week, let me just say something on our Carib word history segment. Every week, I know a couple times in the past few weeks with some of the guests we didn't have a chance to touch on this, but the plan is to every week mention a person or an island or some type of historical significance during this segment, basically to inform you all. So look for this every week. And the future plans, I'm not going to say it's going to be on next week, but the future plans is to include these listings on the website. Of course, you can see it on the video replay on the website, but we would like to have a separate text section on these items. Now, I want to go back a little bit when we were talking about foreclosures, because as you know, this show is the Caribbean Report. We're here in America, but this show is the Caribbean Report, so it's kind of like the tie in between. And we spoke about the foreclosures in America, but Karen, you have some additional information?
Well, yes, the information that I have is stated that the African American communities and the Caribbean communities, the minority Latino communities are hardly hit, very hit by the foreclosure market. They're saying because their rates, the subprime lending rates were marked much higher. So remember, we have talked in the past that certain areas are marked higher than others, okay, just because of your race.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So that's what's going on right there. And we do have a politician. It's a Jamaican American city politician. Yes. His name is Councilman Leroy Comrie, and he is joining Jesse Jackson in the effort of speaking out against foreclosures in these communities and helping people.
Good, good. So,
yes.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No,
yes. All this news that I have been reading to you comes from Carib World History. Oh, excuse me, you keep saying Carib World History too. Carib World News.
Right.
So it was one of the headliners for Carib World News, and what it is, it says Jamaican American city politics joins Jesse in tackling foreclosure crisis. So please go ahead, read this information. If you want more information on this, go ahead on Carib World News. Okay?
That's right. And like I said, all the links are on our sites. But any questions, you can call us here live. You can go to our website, which is, I know I keep saying it, so I'll let you say it this time.
So on and so on. www.myspace.com/Atlanta Caribbean Report.
Right, so if you go to our site, which is on the screen, and also added is our email address, atlcaribbeanreport@yahoo.com. It's currently on the screen. So you can contact us through the MySpace page. You can send it directly to the Yahoo account. If you're watching us live, you can call us on now. So any questions that you have, please, 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 I can't stress it enough, please contact us and let us know. Any suggestions that you have, let us know. Now, one item I did want to touch, well, I say one item, but let me rephrase. Going down the list of news items, as I mentioned earlier, you know, one of the things that I said, there was like a question. I said, are the best educated leaving the Caribbean? Right. And there's an article, again, CaribbeanWorldNews.com, called Best Educated Leave Caribbean to Make Mark Elsewhere. Now, you can get more information on this, but I just want to throw out some major points that I picked out from this, so I'm going to skip around a little. It says, college-educated Caribbean nationals continue to leave the region in droves. Recent data obtained by CWN indicate, again, Carib World News is CWN. And it says, analysts say, based on their survey of migration data, islands such as Jamaica, Haiti, and Trinidad and Tobago have more than 40% of their highly skilled populations abroad. It breaks it down further. It says 20% of Haiti's 463 migrants overseas in 2000 were college educated, while over 27% of the over 88,000 Barbadians who migrated as of 2000 had a tertiary degree. The Bahamas suffered a worse fate, with some 30% of the 30,000 having a college degree. And it goes further and further on with different countries. You see this go on page by page. Oh, but one other quote that I wanted to say before, or one other stat before we get on this. One area, one profession, and I'm sure we both can guess, that's really taking the hit, well, hit if you're in the islands, benefit if you're not in the islands because you're receiving this, but it's the health profession. And it says the report also revealed that the majority of doctors migrating are from the Caribbean at rates above 50%, meaning that there are many doctors born in these countries working in other countries than they are abroad. I mean, not abroad, than they are in their home country. They're working abroad as they are in their home country.
Now, that is like the brain drain effect, basically, correct? Now, were these students educated abroad, or were they educated in their homeland?
I believe it was mixed. I believe it's mixed. Yeah, I believe it's mixed.
But, you know, if you really take a look at it, Haiti, all right, with the type of economical problems, and they're not totally industrialized country, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and I know, okay, I'm getting tongue-tied.
No,
okay, what I'm trying to say here now is, number one, we do have highly educated and very smart people from the Caribbean.
Correct.
The Caribbean nationals, they press upon their children or people upon having a very good college high-level education.
Right.
All right, upon doing all of that, next thing you know, do they have the support system? Do they have the economics? Do they have the industries to keep these people? Because once they're highly educated, can your country support that education? Now, we have the total opposite here in the United States, okay, to me, which coming a little bit on the education level here. On the elementary school side, we are way below, okay, world levels.
Right.
Okay, as far, and to the point as you can see, Clayton County, okay, is losing their accreditation. There was a wind of that.
Right, not to cut you off, but for those of you watching on the website, that's a local county here south of Atlanta, within the Atlanta area.
Okay, all right. So anyway, so with all of that and bringing all that into play, in the United States, we're wealthy in the sense of we're very industrial. We have all the jobs, and there's a certain level of jobs that is open that we cannot really fill that much, high-level jobs. So these people from the Caribbean who are very smart, who have the education and the level to fill these jobs when they come over here, because their country cannot support it. So in a sense, these countries have to start industrializing more, work together more, and I believe that's how the CARICOM, the one economic system, everybody coming together and helping each other to develop their countries, because they are developing, like just Trinidad is developing itself over and over again. Same thing with Barbados, and it's going to trickle down, but it's slow, but it's going to happen.
Right, and to add on to what you're saying, I think something important that has to happen is those of us who are doing well here, not just doing, what I mean is going back to this article, that we have such a good education, that we're doing well here, is to find ways to go back and train. I mean, it doesn't have to be physically go back. It can be sending materials. It can be financially. It can be mentoring someone over the phone or through letters. I mean, there's a lot of different ways, but it all sums up to the common denominator of helping home.
And one thing, I don't know about the other Caribbean islands, but one thing I've heard recently is in Trinidad, for instance, Trinidad nationals, they can get a free college level education.
Really?
And that's because the country is doing so well with its natural resources and pooling in money, it's been doing well recently, that it's giving back to the community where if I choose to, I could go home, you know, and get a free college education on the government. That's what the big buzzword.
Yeah,
so
that is huge.
That is huge. And I believe other, who knows, probably other islands could follow suit. Probably the United States should follow suit in that, because we are, I believe that we're a wealthy nation. In many ways, we are wealthy. It's how we use that wealth.
That's the key.
How we use that wealth to give back and give the power to its people.
Right.
Because it's supposed to be we the people.
Right. Oh yeah, there's a lot of money out there. I mean, it gets thrown away.
And where's it just being disseminated to?
Yeah, like the wars and things like that. But I don't know. That's just a personal comment.
Where's it being disseminated?
But I mean, no. I mean, seriously, I agree on that point. The money is there. It's just where it's allocated to, and it's if it's allocated poorly, then you're going to be suffering from money. I mean, just like a person. Somebody could be making 6 figures, but if they're throwing 80% of their money away, they're going to be suffering.
Well, the rule is the more money you make, the more money you spend, right?
So maybe the U.S. needs to make less money, huh?
You know, so we just have to learn to be better money managers. You know, just better money managers. You know, well, most women are very good money managers. You just put a woman in, you know, to do that for you.
So that's the key.
So probably Hillary Clinton will win. Is somebody going to beat me up for that?
I think we got a call. No.
Okay, we have a call on that. We have a call on that. But anyway, I can't vote. Can you vote?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't vote.
And I did vote back in, when was our election? The beginning of the month or something like that. But yeah.
Well.
You can still support.
One day. Oh, I support.
And that's the key. For
I'm
those
not going to say who I support.
I was going to say that's the key. For those of you who can't vote, you can still, there's a bunch of ways to support whoever you believe in. And that's why I feel.
Oh, you can still go down and you can do volunteer time. I've done that in the past.
Right, and I was going to say, that's why I feel it's important. A lot of times they say, well, why are the islands, or not just the islands, I say the islands because this is the Caribbean Report, but they say why the islands focusing on the election. But that plays a big part in their economy, in other countries' economy. And not just economy, I mean public relations, things like war. I mean, that plays a big part. I mean, they can't pick who's the president here, but they can support. I mean, based on what they feel is best for their country.
Right.
And what made me think about that, I remember, I believe it was Turks and Caicos sent a donation to Obama. This was early on. This was last year sometime, maybe 6 months ago or so. And then, like I said, somebody may ask why, because it's not like they can vote here or anything. But if they see a candidate that is good for their country, why not?
True. We should all have the right to do that, to help and give support to someone that you believe in.
Right.
You know, and if an outside foreign country can do that, well, yes.
Just like, for example, and this leading into another major topic that's going on now, Cuba. As you know, this past week, Fidel Castro stepped down, and right now, Raul, his brother, is in charge. But
you know what? Throughout history, when there are transitions like that, you know, there are vulnerable. People could get very vulnerable. Meaning politics, the government, and sometimes a coup, or some people try to take over because of transitions like that. I would like to see how this whole thing plays itself out, because it's going to take some time for the whole transition to take place.
And I was going to say, I've been listening to, not as much as I wanted to, but I've been listening to various, I guess you could say, analysts give their opinions in which, of course, they are just opinions. But they saying that Cuba is less of a chance just of the way it's going with the transfer to its brother. But less of a chance doesn't mean it's not going to happen. And again, these are just opinions.
Less of a chance for...
Oh, for a coup.
Coup.
I'm sorry. Going back to
work. A coup. Okay. And another thing, what type of leader would his brother be? I mean, his politics, because, I mean, will he be more, how will he rule the country?
You know what? That's the question I had.
You know, because what is his actual viewpoints? Just because Fidel had certain viewpoints doesn't mean that his brother may have some new changes. His ideology could be totally different, and it could be a new beginning, whereas serious trade, the trade could open up again between Cuba and United States, and they could be good friends once again.
Right. Now, I was wondering the same thing, so what I did, actually, I found an article on the BBC, again, their Caribbean site, which you can get to from our site, of course.
And I had that article, too.
Okay, so maybe I should, well, I'll say something short and I'll let you go. But one thing they mentioned in this article, not going in detail, they said his brother is more, I guess you could say, he has more of a humorous side, but as far as any radical change, you shouldn't expect any, because that's where the differences lie, is only in their humor. But as far as their, I guess you could say, ideas and beliefs, they're pretty much the same. Okay. Now, did you have something you wanted to add to that?
No. Just that basically that's what they said. He is humorous. He likes to joke around, but basically their ideologies are pretty similar.
Now, I have a couple other points I want to throw out about this. Now, it said, two things. Going back to our present election, just regarding this situation in Cuba. I was about to say Hillary Clinton, and I got the H in the Q. But anyway, going back to this situation in Cuba, Hillary Clinton said that she would refuse to sit down with Raul until he implements political and economic reforms. Now, Barack Obama said he would meet with them without precautions. And another question I had was, it automatic that Raul is going to be the next president? Now, what they say here, or the next leader, what they say here in the BBC is said it is possible, although unlikely, that he would not be the next president.
Really?
Fidel's resignation letter did not mention a successor. That's one thing to emphasize. It said he's speakingly spoken over handing over power to a younger generation. So, I mean...
so, handing power to a younger generation, that does not say his brother.
Right, his brother's 76 years old.
Right, it doesn't say his brother. So, who knows what is in store for this whole thing. So there's a lot of questions right now, because we really don't know.
I was going to say, just let me mention this for Newsworld. It says the first hint of the island's future direction will come on this coming Sunday. Again, for those of you who are not watching us live, today is the 22nd of February. So on the 24th is when the direction will come, and then the National Assembly officially will select the new president. So by next week's show, we will go have more details on this situation in Cuba.
And did you get any information on the relationship with Castro and the Caribbean?
Yeah, I did actually. And going back, because this is the first thought that came to my mind, going back to what we talked about with professions leaving the Caribbean and so forth, I spoke about health care. And the reason I'm going back to that is something Cuba is really strong in. And also in going back to that and going back to your question, the health care in Cuba, they did a lot of, I guess you could say, training and assistance to the other islands in the Caribbean. So as far as the relationship, just taking health care for example, there was a strong relationship between Cuba and the other islands. And the reason I'm stressing that, somebody may say, oh, why not? They're all islands. But there's a difference, because Cuba is part of the Spanish-speaking island. Not saying that Spanish don't get along with the French or the English or previously English-owned islands, but there is that culture difference. Not so much culture, because we're all West Indies and Islanders, but for lack of a better word, guess you could say this.
There is a cultural difference.
Right, because you come up, if you're one of the English-based islands, you come up, you have a lot of influence from Britain. If you're in the French islands, you have a lot of influence from France. I don't care if you're all islanders, you still have a lot of influence from these other places. So there is that difference.
Yes, there is.
So for there to be that level of cooperation, to me, speaks a lot. So to answer your question, I know that was a long way, but Cuba, but it gives the viewer the information. Cuba did have relations with the other islands.
Well, very good, very good. You did your homework.
I was going to say, and so much you all may remember in '83 when the U.S. attacked Grenada. Part of that was because of the leader or dictator at the time relation with Castro.
True.
So go to our website and go to this BBC, go to the BBC. There's a lot of articles regarding this. I mean, I haven't even touched the surface in what I mentioned so far. There's a lot more examples of the relationship between Cuba and the other islands.
And that is bbccaribbean.com. If you go to that website, there are a wealth of articles from all of the islands. Newsworthy.
That's right.
Newsworthy.
That's right.
Newsworthy. Yes, and also there's something that I would like to touch on. We talk a lot about crime in the Caribbean, right?
Oh, definitely.
And last week no, not last week. Boy,
last time we were on.
The last time we were on, we were talking about, speaking of percentages, of Trinidad was 33% out of 100,000. Yes,
right.
of 100,000.
Right.
And they were talking about the crime rate, the murder rate, or what have you.
Right.
And what is going on here? And people in United States, Caribbean, Afro-Caribbean, would say, well, back in the Caribbean, it's, back home, it's so much crime, a lot of crime, too much crime. If you turn on the news here in the morning, all you hear about is crime, murder, and there's a lot that you don't hear of. And I pulled up some data, which I would like to share.
Oh, please do.
I can get it. But this is from 2006. They didn't have it for 2007.
Well, that's because, I'm just going to make it real quick. Normally, they go through and, for lack of better word, we compile the data. So it's still only February 2008. A lot of times not until, I think, like April, around that time frame, do they come out with the official previous year's numbers, which would be 2007. So I'm saying all that to say you have the latest. You have the latest figures.
Yes, I do have some recent statistics.
The recent.
Huh?
No, I'm saying you do have the.
Yes,
recent
I do have the recent statistics.
You got.
I'm getting whatever you have. And what I did was I pulled in on smaller demographics. Instead of going on, yes, United States, because you can't compare United States with a smaller Caribbean island, but if we could go with the population of, say, 100,000, which they did for the Caribbean, and you go with, say, Flint, Michigan, you'll hear that there was rape, say, under the category of rape, it was 45%,
or 45 per 100,000.
Yes, 45
per
100. So that's high.
Right.
Don't you? If you look in those terms, it's just as high. Murder ranked 45.7. For California, Richmond, it ranked 44.5. For Virginia, Richmond, it ranked 40.7. For New York, Rochester, 23.2. For Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi, it was 22.6. For Connecticut, Harvard, Connecticut, 19.3. And, the list goes on. If you want this information, you could just go to, no, the audience said they don't want that information at all. I'm scaring them. I don't mean to scare you. I want to alert you, to tell you that in the Caribbean, all globally, crime is on the rise, and it's a global thing. And if you think of it that way, every country is being affected on the same level. So not one place is outdoing the other, basically. And we just have to think of what we can do to try to eliminate it, you know, cut it down. And that's all we can do, is come together as a people. For instance, when I was looking at some streamlined information from Trinidad, there is something that's going on that we do here, even in the United States. We close our eyes to a crime. We close our eyes to a crime. So what we do is now, in Trinidad, what they do in their advertising, please call a particular number. It's totally, you know, you would not find out. No one would find out. It's anonymous. Call this number, prevent a crime. You know, let's see if we can help to save the country. And that's what we need to do here and abroad.
Okay, now I know we're in our last 2 minutes, so I better recap. You can see we weren't able to touch, well, I'm not going to say nearly all of them. We touched the majority of them, but not all of the articles. So let me stress the website again, myspace.com/Atlanta Caribbean Report. I'm one of your hosts, Dedrick Henry, and of course this is
Karen Clarke.
And I hear the phone ring, but it's too late for us to take a call on the air. But call if you have a question for us. Please continue to call, and we will answer you off air. Again, the number is 873-1349. You can catch us every Friday night from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on People TV, on Channel 24 Atlanta, on the web, at the website I mentioned previously. And Karen, I will leave any last comments for you.
Have a safe and prosperous weekend. Thank you.
See you next week.
Yeah.